Alrighty, Patriots, welcome back. It's Monday night, and we're firing on all cylinders after a weekend that frankly felt like a fever dream of liberal lunacy. Welcome to the Conservative Viewpoint, where we separate the signal from the static, expose the insanity, and defend the sanity of our nation. I'm your host, Charlie, the Country Conservative. Let's dive right in, shall we? First, the weekend wrap-up, and boy, was it a doozy. We saw the unusual suspects they're spewing their venom. The radical left descent into madness continues, but a few things stand out. The first, Trump's physical. While the left salivates hoping for a decline, his physical proves that he is fit to lead, and they hate that. Then the truly delays, a self-proclaimed liberal arrested for plotting to murder Trump. Of course, he believed he had to kill Trump to save America. And to add to the horror, he allegedly murdered his own parents as part of his deranged plan to financially gain to help him assassinate Trump. This isn't just political disagreement. This is indecent into pure, unadulterated madness. And then the Lincoln Riley Act. Remember that, guys? The legislation to protect our borders, to hold illegal aliens, criminals, accountable for their crimes. Well, even some Democrats are starting to feel the heat. One in particular is regretting her vote. Oh, yeah. As reality of the situation hits home, the American people are demanding accountability. They're realizing that the open borders are just a policy debate. The republic safety crisis. Hey, that's just the tip of the iceberg, Patriots. We've got the usual dose of woke since the endless identity politics and the constant attempts to rewrite history. The left is in full-blown meltdown, and we're here to document every glorious, insane moment. Tonight, we're not just reporting the news, we're exposing their agenda. We're not just observing the chaos. We're not just speaking to power or demanding the power to be held accountable. So buckle up, Patriots. We're in for a wild ride. Welcome to the Conservative Viewpoint, where we defend the values that made America great, where we challenge the insanity of the left, and where we refuse to be silenced. So sit back, relax, and I hope you're ready for a great episode of the Conservative Viewpoint, because the show begins now. Hi, everyone. I have got to try something here because Getter did not come on, or at least I'm not seeing anything here. Let me go to my other computer and see if something comes up here. There we go. Let's see if it's not letting me do. Here we go. See if it does something. I don't know what's going on with it over there. But how is everyone tonight? Hope everyone's doing great. I hope you guys had a great weekend. Definitely a busy weekend for me. I'm tired as hell. I've been up since 2:30 this morning trying to get things done. I'm not going to have time to do an ad or anything tomorrow for this tomorrow night's show. My wife has surgery in the morning. We got to leave here at 5 a.m. Oh, it's going to be a long day. So I've got some stuff planned. We'll see what happens with tomorrow, but welcome, everyone. Hi, Sean. Anyone new to the show, welcome. Glad to see you here. Don't forget to say hi in chat. Join us in chat, too, and let your voices be heard. Got to do it, guys. I can't see when you come into chat. I can only see if you say something in chat. So make sure you say hi, kiss my ass, whatever. It doesn't matter to me. As long as I can see your name pop up there, we're good to go. So hope everyone's doing well, and thank you, Sean. And let's say some highs. We got Cloud Hub, we got Facebook, we got still YouTube. We got X. Hi, everyone from X. We've got Rumble. We've got everyone in here. We've got them all. How's everyone doing tonight? We've got Wimkin, WIMKIN.com. FGS, how you doing? Guys, haven't checked out Wimkin yet? Download the app. Go to the web version, whichever one you want. Try it out. Trust me, you're going to love it. It's going to be great. Join us in chat. You guys will see what's going on. We have a great time in chat everywhere, in Getter, and everywhere in Wimkin. Excuse me a sec. We have a great time in all of them. So, thank you, Sean. So make sure you try it out, guys. But we got a lot going on, guys. Got a lot of things going on from the weekend, so that's why we're going to be doing the weekend wrap-up. But we are also going to start off with, and I'll let you watch it. Amen, Sean. The MAGA Minute. Take a listen.
Hey guys, safe to say it was another very busy week here at the White House. Let's roll through it for this week's MAGA Minute. This week, the president took strong action to put U.S. trade interests first by raising tariffs on China to 145% and dropping tariffs to 10% for most countries after bringing more than 75 nations to the negotiating table. The president hosted the LA Dodgers and racing champions here at the White House, and he hosted a successful bilateral meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. We also had incredible economic news. Inflation declined massively in March. Consumer prices dropped for the first time in 3 years. Energy prices have decreased 2.4%. Gas prices decreased 6.3%. And real average hourly earnings are growing by 1.4%. AMG Minerals, Novinix, Novartis Pharmaceuticals, Guardian Bikes, and many other companies announced billions of dollars in investments in the United States as a result of the president's economic and America First trade policies. The White House Council of Economic Advisors released a study showing President Trump's actions will save nearly $11,000 per family of 4 over the coming years. And the president signed an executive order bolstering U.S. coal production following decades of industry decline. The administration also won 4 major Supreme Court cases, repealing rulings from activist federal judges. And the Department of Homeland Security relaunched the Victims of Immigration Crime Engagement Office to assist Americans who have been harmed by illegal immigrant crime. That's just a very small glimpse into all of the incredible work our administration is doing to make America great again. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you for next week's MAGA Minute.
Yeah, that was so much they had to do, and she didn't even name everything, and that was almost 2 minutes. That was crazy, right? Let's all say hi to people in Wimkin. We got Jerry. Hey, Jerry. We got Democrats show up for office to protest showing up to the office. Exactly right. Lee, what up, Lee? Hi, Pat. What's going on? Cecil. Oh, right. What do we got? Colin, what's going on, Colin? Mr. Fixer's in the house. What's happening, Fix? John M., what's happening? Harris, what's going on, guys? How's everyone tonight? All right, we're going to keep rolling on to this, guys, because we got a lot, like I said, going on. You got to love her, right, Sean? She's awesome, and they're just showing up to do it. The whole administration is showing up and doing it because I'm going to show you this next video, and it's a little longer than what I'm normally doing, but this is the Trump cabinet. And they are humiliating Caitlin Collins today during the visit from the El Salvador president. Take a listen.
Let's hear the question from this very low-rated anchor at CNN. Low-rated. Which one is that?
The man who was mistakenly deported to El Salvador.
Well, let me ask Pam. Would you answer that question?
Sure, President. First and foremost, he was illegally in our country. He had been illegally in our country. And in 2019, 2 courts, an immigration court and an appellate immigration court, ruled that he was a member of MS-13 and he was illegally in our country. Right now, it was a paperwork. It was additional paperwork had needed to be done. That's up to El Salvador if they want to return him. That's not up to us. The Supreme Court ruled, President, that if, as El Salvador wants to return him, this is international matters, foreign affairs. If they wanted to return him, we would facilitate it, meaning provide a plane.
So will you return him?
And you are doing a great job. Thank you, Pam. Stephen Miller, wait a minute. Could you just also respond to that question? Because, you know, it's asked by CNN, and they always ask it with a slant because they're totally slanted because they don't know what's happening. That's why nobody's watching them. But would you answer that question also, please?
Yes, gladly. So, as Pam mentioned, there's an illegal alien from El Salvador. So, with respect to you, he's a citizen of El Salvador. So it's very arrogant even for American media to suggest that we would even tell El Salvador how to handle their own citizens as a starting point. As 2 immigration courts found that he was a member of MS-13. When President Trump declared MS-13 to be a foreign terrorist organization, that meant that he was no longer eligible under federal law, which I'm sure you know, you're very familiar with the INA, that he was no longer eligible for any form of immigration relief in the United States. So he had a deportation order that was valid, which meant that under our law, he's not even allowed to be present in the United States and had to be returned because of the foreign terrorist designation. This issue was then, by a district court judge, completely inverted, and a district court judge tried to tell the administration that they had to kidnap a citizen of El Salvador and fly him back here. That issue was raised to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said the district court order was unlawful, and its main components were reversed 9-0 unanimously, stating clearly that neither Secretary of State nor the President could be compelled by anybody to forcibly retrieve a citizen of El Salvador from El Salvador, who again is a member of MS-13, which, as I'm sure you understand, rapes little girls, murders women, murders children, is engaged in the most barbaric activities in the world, and I can promise you, if he was your neighbor, you would move right away.
So you don't plan
But
to
the
ask for
Supreme Court's asking to...
And what was the ruling in the Supreme Court, Steve? Was it 9-0?
Yes, it was a 9-0
In our favor.
in our favor against the district court ruling, saying that no district court has the power to compel the foreign policy function of the United States. As Pam said, the ruling solely stated that if this individual at El Salvador's sole discretion was sent back to our country, that we could deport him a second time. No version of this legally ends up with him ever living here because he is a citizen of El Salvador. That is the president of El Salvador. Your questions about it for the court can only be directed to him.
I asked
¿Se lo liberaría, Presidente
Can President Bukele weigh in on this? Do you plan to return him?
Well, I'm supposed to be not suggesting that I smuggle a terrorist into the United States, right?
It's always
how can I return him to the United States? Like, could I smuggle him into the United States, or what do I do? Of course, I'm not going to do it. It's like, the question is preposterous. How can I smuggle a terrorist into the United States? I don't have the power to return him to the United States.
You could release him inside El Salvador.
Yeah, but I'm not releasing... we're not very fond of releasing terrorists into our country. We just turned the murder capital of the world into the safest country of the Western Hemisphere, and you want us to go back into releasing criminals so we can go back to being the murder capital of the world? No, that's not going to happen.
Well, they'd love to have a criminal, released into our
there's a fascination.
They would love it. They're sick. These are sick people. Marco, do you have something to say about it?
Yeah, Stephen outlined it. I don't understand what the confusion is. This individual is a citizen of El Salvador. He was illegally in the United States and was returned to his country. That's where you deport people, back to their country of origin. Except for Venezuela, that wasn't refusing to take people back, or places like that. I can tell you this, Mr. President. No, the foreign policy of the United States is conducted by the President of the United States, not by a court. And no court in the United States has a right to conduct the foreign policy of the United States. It's that simple. End of story.
And that's what the Supreme Court held, by the way, to Marco's point. The Supreme Court said exactly what Marco said, that no court has the authority to compel the foreign policy function of the United States. We won a case 9-0, and people like CNN are portraying it as a loss, as usual, because they want foreign terrorists in the country who kidnap women and children. But President Trump, his policy is foreign terrorists that are here illegally get expelled from the country, which, by the way, is a 90-10 issue.
Well, Mr. President, you said that if the Supreme Court said someone needed to be returned, that you would abide by that. You said that on your first one just a few days ago.
How long do we have to answer this question from you? Why don't you just say, Isn't it wonderful that we're keeping criminals out of our country? Why can't you just say that? Why do you go over and over? And that's why nobody watches you anymore. You know, you have no credibility. Please go ahead.
That is the best ever. I just don't know why he doesn't get her the hell out of there. She's a worthless piece of garbage. Oh my, Colin, 8 months. That's crazy. Shipping something to Scotland from the United States does not work, people. We're still waiting on him. According to his son, that the longest delay could be up to 8 months. If it's not there by August, it's stolen. It's still showing it's in England. Oh my God, this is crazy. That is a shame. You can't even ship stuff in the mail. We had a lot of them stolen right here, too. Pat was one of them, got her stuff stolen. It's ridiculous. All right, guys. I wanted you to see that because this is the most pathetic thing I ever saw. She is a useless, worthless piece of garbage, and I will comment every time I see her saying something because she is just pathetic. All right, this is not one of mine. This is something that Vic and the Rebel Chicks usually put on, but Diddy pleads not guilty to additional charges in new indictment. They're adding more and more stuff to it, and it's the same stuff that he's been charged with anyways. But the trial begins May 5th, and they're going to start picking the jurors and stuff. That they just keep adding up, and he pleads not guilty. He knows he's guilty, and Vic has showed a bunch of videos on that and on the Rebel Chicks, and I don't know why he's not making a deal and throwing people under the bus, trying to get a deal and get the hell out of there. Or if he think he's safer in prison than he is out. I wish he would start throwing names out so we could get these pedophiles the hell out of our country and off the streets instead of them running around. That's for sure. All right, guys, we're going to get into some stuff now. Exactly, John. We're going to get into stuff I actually put together for the show tonight. So, shoot, we're already running behind. So, we're going to get through these as quick as possible. This weekend wrap-up was a lot. All right, let's get in with it. Trump's physical results released, and, of course, the Democrats are pissed about it. And he did a cognitive exam, a neurological exam. He did it all, cardiac, everything. And he's just fine. Of course, Democrats don't want to hear nothing from it. Now, this next one is this Democrat, and I told you in my opening monologue, if you guys heard it, about the Lake and Riley Act and how it passed. Now, this Democrat is coming back and saying she regrets voting for the Lake and Riley Act. This is how pathetic and mental these Democrats are. They are wacko. Every one of them, the liberals, Democrats, whatever it is, you are wacko. But I want you guys to hear it out of her own mouth.
Congresswoman, can I ask you, because you also supported that law, so I'm glad that you want to weigh in, because the question was about due process, and since it's for people who are accused and charged with crimes but not necessarily convicted of them, what do you make of the concerns about due process?
So I understand your concerns, and I understand how immigrants across this country who are here legally and have followed the law are being terrorized right now because they are unsure of what happens next. I voted for that piece of legislation because of a very specific provision, and it was if it caused injury or death to a police officer, which was one small piece of it. There were other things about, to your point, Caitlin, someone who was was charged but hadn't been convicted. As I've thought about it over the last couple months, I probably would have voted differently. It's a vote that I regret, but coming into this Congress, I trusted that this administration, we would have some, if they wanted to have border security, they wanted to work with Democrats, that we could actually move forward. I'm not really sure of that because I've seen the rhetoric that has come out and the attacks that have been targeted towards immigrants. So I'm very cautious and careful when I'm negotiating my votes moving forward.
You hear that right from her mouth. She regrets it. You regret protecting the American people. This is how pathetic and whacked out these nutcases are. It's unreal. But we're not done there. The Wisconsin teen allegedly killed his parents in extremist plot to assassinate Trump. Oh, yeah, ain't no joke there. Take a look.
Wisconsin teen Nikita Kasap is currently being held on a $1 million bond. The 17-year-old is accused of murdering his mother and stepfather inside their Waukesha home back in February and stealing their car and leaving with the family dog. The Waukesha County Sheriff's Department says they found the bodies of 51-year-old Donald Mayer and 35-year-old Tatiana Kasap on March 1st during a welfare check.
The body was appeared to have been deceased for some time, was unable to definitively identify who it was.
Law enforcement eventually arresting Kasap during a traffic stop in Kansas 2 weeks later, saying they found a handgun, pried open safe, jewelry, and $14,000 cash inside the vehicle, as well as documents on his phone calling for the assassination of the President of the United States in order to foment a political revolution. Officials go on to claim Kasap killed his parents as part of an effort to obtain the financial means and autonomy necessary to carry out his plan. According to federal documents filed in court, Kasap shared the views of an extremist neo-Nazi group. The FBI describes the group as a satanic cult whose goal it is to incite chaos and violence. Kasap is facing 9 felony charges, including 2 counts of first-degree intentional homicide, but prosecutors hinted there could be more charges. He has not entered a plea. His next court appearance is set for May 7th. Dave Packer, ABC News, New York.
How many times I got to say wacko? These people are wacko. And where do they get it from? From the top of the deck, right? Well, these are the two that these Democrats are counting on to take them in 2028 back to the White House. Oh, yeah. I'm not even going to spoil it for you. You're going to have to take a look.
Oligarchy or democracy, but we cannot have both. Los Angeles, I've made my choice. We must fight the oligarchy that has created this nightmare.
We are living in a moment of extraordinary danger. And how we respond to this moment will not only impact our lives, but will impact the lives of our kids and future generations. We're living in a moment with a president who has no understanding or respect for the Constitution of the United States. And
this is who the Democrats think can pull them out of the dumpster that they are in and take them back to the White House. An idiot and an old grandpa, the Mr. Free Everything, think that they can get them back to the White House. This is what they're setting up. They are setting this up as a presidential ticket come 2028. Oh my God. How pathetic are these people? Oh my God. We will fight every tooth and nail to keep the Democrats out of power totally, guys. This is what we're going to, that is our job. That is our target, to keep these idiots out of power forever, or we will lose this country. Oh, yeah. You can bet on it. All right, what else we got here? What else we got happening? Let me see. And we're not done with this yet with these guys. This thing on, again, CNN, extremism expert, he claims to be himself, claims that all extremism is on the right. There's no equivalent on the left at this time. Oh, yeah, this is what he said. Take a look.
What we're looking at here is obviously, you know, when it comes to extremism in this country, I mean, the issue very much so is on the right, on the far right, from Charlottesville to January 6th. There isn't exactly an equivalent on the left in this moment. And as you can see there, as part of our doc, we actually were outside the DC jail on inauguration night when, of course, Trump began pardoning a lot of people who took part in the January 6th riot, and people began to be released.
This idiot, no equivalent on the left, he says, right? Where's the Summer of Love? Where's the BLM? Where's Antifa and all them burning down cities? No equivalent to that. No calling for violence on the Democrats' part. None of that on the left. No. He named two things that were constructed by the Democrats, but there's nothing. There's no equivalent. It's all on the right. Oh, yeah. He's a fucking moron. Oh, sorry about that. No, I'm not. All right, let's see. Where we got here? Progressives, mainstream, murder, violence. This is what the Democrats do. This is what they call for every time you turn around. They call for violence. They call for murder, and they applaud it. They want these murderers to stay in this country, and they're going to try. They want to try to keep these illegal criminals, murderers, rapists, drug dealers, everything in this country. Why is that? They think they can kill us all off so they can keep their voters in there, and that's why they're doing all this. This is what they call for. This is what you get with the Democrat Party. Like I said, this was a lot going on this weekend, and that's why we're doing the weekend wrap-up every Monday. We're not done yet. We got judges. Oh, yeah. Judge will halt Trump administration from ending humanitarian parole for people from 4 different countries. Oh, yeah. We're going to keep funding Cubans, Haitians, Nicaraguans, Venezuelans that opened their prisons up, sent them all their criminals and mental patients over here to destroy our country, but we're going to keep giving them money. And this judge thinks he got any power whatsoever to stop Trump from taking the money away. Oh, yeah. This is what's been going on. You want to keep calling for that? For these judges to totally do away with the law. And this is what's been going on for the past 4 years. And this judge thinks he can do it too. This is really getting pretty pathetic, guys. Now, Trump's going to take another order by authorizing the military to take control of federal lands along U.S. southern border. Of course, the Democrats are flipping out over this too, but because they put in there about posse comitatus, so however you pronounce it, that military is not allowed to actively work in the United States. Comitatus. I think that's what it is. But he's not. They are setting up military bases along the southern border. And if anybody crosses into those military bases, they have the right to arrest them and detain them. That is smart as hell right there. And that's why we voted for Trump. Right there is why. And that fact right there. All right, where we go? That's that one. Oh, I've got a headache. I'm tired. I think that's why, because I haven't slept. All right, what else are we doing here? The White House moves to cancel thousands of immigrants that were given Social Security numbers illegally by Joe Biden, none other than the mental idiot himself. Bernie beat Hillary and Joe. Yeah, isn't that a shame, Sean? That's crazy, right? This is why we got to keep these idiots out of the White House. There, we cannot have posse comitatus. There you go, Harris. But he has taken the Social Security numbers, and of course, Democrats are freaking out because they're taking them off, and they're calling them legal citizens here. They're not in this country or legally. Just because Joe Biden and the Democrats said wouldn't give them Social Security number does not mean they're here legally. So, of course, we got it again. Now, on this part, and I'm going through these real quick, guys, because we're going to run out of time here. And I want to get to some good videos. I downloaded a lot of videos because tomorrow I'm just going to get into articles and no videos for tomorrow for 40 articles, but I'll still have some good articles or some good videos. Sorry. But this one comes up that Trump's reciprocal tariffs to exclude smartphones, PCs, and stuff like that. Now, the Democrats are throwing it out there telling everybody that, oh, he's exempting all this stuff. They're not exempt. They still have to pay the 20% original tariff. They are exempt from the reciprocal, which he stopped it all anyways, except on China. And that continues to go until China wakes up and say, you're not going to scare the United States. This is not the Democrat Party. This is not Joe Biden. This is the Trump administration. It's not going to happen. Yep, they stole it from him twice. They have nobody. They don't, Sean. The Democrats have nobody. They have no talking points. They have nothing to run on. They are a dying party. And if they think AOC and that old idiot is the best they got coming, look, they thought Harris and that Tampon Tim was the best they had. They got another thing coming. All right, let's keep going here. No, they're not exempt anyways. They're not exempt, and people want to make it out like he's being soft, and he's not. They still have to pay the 20% tariff. Anyway, GOP are now the party of the people, according to Dick Morse to Newsmax. And he is right. They rotten crotch. Yeah, I like that. We get Jasmine the rotten Crockett. Oh, yeah. I don't have anything on her. I don't think so tonight. But if they can't go with AOC, they'll probably go with that idiot. And Texas needs to take care of her and get her the hell out of here. Trump expands Gulf of America oil and natural gas production. He's putting that back up online, and that's exactly what he's done. Keystone Pipeline's got to come back up, too. Was up, Dadavate. Is Dadavate in the house? I did not see him. Dadavate, there you are, man. What's happening? I hope I didn't miss anybody. Alan, I said hi to Alan earlier. All right. Production of gas and oil is coming right back. I mean, Trump's got a lot to fix because the Democrats screwed up a lot in the past 4 years, and he's definitely got a lot to fix. All right, what else we got here? Let me see what I got on this one. Oh, I think that's coming up here shortly. Newly declassified Crossfire hurricane documents shine a light on the Steele, Clinton, and so much more. Oh, yeah. They got some new documents out. First attempt at declassifying Crossfire hurricane documents in January 2021 was thwarted, of course, by the FBI. And now the FBI records have been released revealing that part of the new detail of FBI's problematic Trump-Russia probe. And it's showing more and more of how bad the FBI was involved in all this with everybody else that was involved. And we knew Clinton and all of them were involved. Now more people are coming out and proving that how bad this was set up. I mean, it goes on and on. I couldn't even tell you the whole article because the article is so huge showing everything. But it's all going to come out. And Trump's got another 3 years. But that's why we got to keep Democrats out, because if we don't keep Democrats out of power, all this is going to be for naught, and we're not going to get anything accomplished. We will not get our country back. So we have got to make sure we work our asses off to keep these Democrats out of power starting next year. This is funny as all get out, guys. You're going to love this. White House moves Obama portrait out and puts somewhere else for Trump's raised fist painting. Oh, yeah. Take a look.
I want to put up this video the White House posted today. And I want to explain what's happening here. So the White House today hung that painting of President Trump depicting that moment after his assassination attempt against him last summer. Now, they bumped, though, the official portrait of one of his predecessors, Barack Obama. Now, the Associated Press says hanging a new presidential likeness without advance notice is unusual, and Trump is putting himself in that space, could be seen as him breaking with norms yet again. Now, by tradition, the Associated Press says, portraits of the two most recent former presidents go on display in the foyer, and Trump is in the unique position of also being a former president. Now, Obama's portrait went on display in the foyer of the State floor near the staircase to the president's residence after it was unveiled back in 2022. Now,
that is funny as all get out. Biden's picture's been removed, and now his. This is freaking awesome. You can't beat that with a pen. Now, tell me anyone else in this government, be it ex-president or anything, if anyone would get an ovation at a UFC event in Miami like this man. no one, I mean no one, would get a standing ovation like that. You get a Democrat in there, they'll be chased the hell out. That would be funny as all. Tampon Tim Maxi Pad 28. Oh, that would be funny as, oh my God. That election is going to be something. Hi, Mike. That election is going to be something, guys, but we're going to continue to fight. Every bit of our heart is going to go into keeping these people out of office. Who gives a shit what the Associated Press says? They take their marching orders just like everyone else. Exactly right. We don't care about the Washington Post. We don't care about any of those idiot liberal sites. You get nothing but lies from them and corruption out of the fake news media. But everyone hates Trump. Exactly, Dadavate. Yeah, because Rosie O'Donnell told him. That's funny right there. Everybody hates him. Yeah, those people clapping and cheering, they hate that man. Oh, my God, yeah. That is so funny. And this is what you get out of the Democrats, too. They hate that man. Just like this guy, Bill Maher, finally tells all about his meeting at the White House with President Trump. No, he was no fan of Trump, I think, until now.
As you know, 12 days ago, I had dinner with President Trump, a dinner that was set up by my friend Kid Rock, because we share a belief that there's got to be something better than hurling insults from 3,000 miles away. And let me first say that to all the people who treated this like it was some kind of summit meeting, you're ridiculous. Like I was going to sign a treaty or something. I have no power. I'm a fucking comedian, and he's the most powerful leader in the world. I'm not the leader of anything, except maybe a contingent of centrist-minded people who think there's got to be a better way of running this country than hating each other every minute. So, thank you. Okay, so meet up in person. Maybe it'll be different. Spoiler alert, it was. First good sign, before I left for the Capitol, I had my staff collect and print out this list of almost 60 different insulting epithets that the president has said about me. Things like stupid, dummy, lowlife dummy, sleazebag, sick, sad, stone cold crazy. Really a dumb guy, fired like a dog, his show is dead. There's 60. I brought this to the White House because I wanted him to sign it. Which he did. Which he did with good humor. And I know as I say that, millions of liberal sphincters just tightened. Oh my God, Bill, are you going to say something nice about him? What I'm going to do is report exactly what happened. You decide what you think about it. And if that's not enough pure Trump hate for you, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. Gotta love that, right? I'm still not a total fan of his, but I think he's coming around. The last thing I've got for you guys was envoys from Iran and U.S. agree to additional talks over Tehran's nuclear program. This is the only one that could ever do this, and that is Trump. He stopped them from having nukes in 2016 when he was president. He will do it again. That is what it's all about. Not like Biden and the Democrats giving all the money, that billions of dollars that Trump had stopped and taken from Iran, and they gave it right back to him so they can start up their nuclear program, start training terrorists again, and everything that Trump had stopped. They opened it up. This shows you, like everything else that the Democrats have done, that they hate our country. It's all about their pocket. They want the money. That's all it's about. They don't give a shit about anything else. The liberal idiots need to wake up and see that. But you know, because you look at all the idiots who went and saw AOC and that old geezer, they don't have a brain to any of them. You could put that whole 35,000 they say that was there. I don't believe it. And not one of them there wouldn't be make a whole brain. It wouldn't. Yeah, he is at least he's realistic. Yes, you're right there, Sean. He definitely is. But yeah, they loved it when he signed that paper, and he loved it. Hey, that's all you got to love. When Trump is straight out forward, if you don't like that, that's your problem. I who used to hate this guy, now I have found a respect for him. A little bit, Dadovate. A little bit. He's coming around. We'll see what happens. Oh my, Sean, got to work for a living now? Jeez. All right, guys, that finishes the articles up for tonight. It's not TDS, it's Stockholm Syndrome. They used to be screwed. Oh, yeah. Got that right. All right, let's watch some funny videos. Well, not so funny here. I've got a few of them here I want you to watch. That's not hilarious, but reckless immigration. Let me find out what this one is. Brought to you by Joe Biden himself. Take a look.
Do you manage your budget or not, Mayor? I remember we had a group of this committee that...
Now, this is not what it's said to be. But you guys are like Byron Donalds. You got to listen to him. This is really good.
Do you manage your budget or not, Mayor? I remember we had a group of this committee that went down to the El Paso section of the border. This was back in February, March of 2021. And during that time period, we were at one of the holding centers, and there were these buses that were coming to the detention facility, and they were picking up 30 kids, 50 kids at random, walking out of the facility. And when I went over to question the bus driver that was transporting these kids, border agents told me, as a member of Congress, that you're not allowed to question the bus driver. And of course, people knowing me, I didn't take no for an answer, and I repeated the question. And I was told that this bus of children was leaving El Paso and going to San Diego. And so what was occurring under the Biden administration is that they were busing unaccompanied minors all across the United States for one reason and one reason only. And that was because they did not want the press to see the pictures of kids in cages. They did not want to see our borders being overrun. They wanted to disperse that problem all through the United States. That is the reckless history of illegal immigration under Joe Biden and the Democrat Party. Mayor Johnston of Denver, you lamented earlier that there were 10 to 11 buses coming per day to your city. Did you ever talk to Joe Biden about why this was happening to your community?
Thank you, Congressman. I both reached out to Governor Abbott from Texas. He didn't respond, and I did.
Why would you reach out to Governor Abbott of Texas when it is Joe Biden, the former commander-in-chief, that opened up our borders? Why didn't you talk to him?
Well, our buses directly were being sent from Governor Abbott in Texas, so that was why we reached out to say we're happy to collaborate on a coordinated entry system. We understand no one state or no one city should bear the entire brunt of this, but let's collaborate. But I did.
So I'm glad you said that, because that brings me to my next point. Governor Abbott and Governor DeSantis, when they started moving illegal aliens out of their states who were bearing the brunt of what Joe Biden and Kamala Harris were doing, and they've sent them to Denver, they sent them to Chicago, they sent them to New York, they sent them to Martha's Vineyard. The reason why they did that is because you four could hide behind the realities of illegal immigration on border towns all through our country and on cities and states who did not want to see illegal immigration, but did not have the political representation to go to the White House. And only when it showed up on your doorstep did you get upset. Mayor Johnston, coming back to you, how much did your city spend on illegal immigration? Do you have a round number?
Over the last couple of years on all newcomers, whatever their status was, it's around $79 million since 2022.
$79 million. Mayor Johnson, Chicago. How much has the city of Chicago spent on illegal immigration?
If you're referring to the 2022 up to 2024 of the buses coming from Texas, roughly the same percentage of the state of Texas, about 1% of our overall budget.
What is that? Because we don't have the city's budget in front of me. Numbers.
It's 1%, and if you want the actual calculation, we can make sure someone...
You're the mayor. You don't have the math in front of you.
It's 1% of the overall budget over the last 4 years.
That's why you're a failing
which
mayor.
is
Mayor
the same
Adams,
number that was sent from us from the state of Texas.
How much did the city of New York actually spend on illegal immigration? Mayor Johnson, I already asked you. You don't have a hard number, and if you don't have a hard number, you're not running your city well. Mayor Adams, how much did the city of New York actually spend on illegal immigration?
$6.9 billion of taxpayers'
$6.9 billion of taxpayer money on a problem that was fostered on the American people. Mayor Wu, in the city of Boston, how much did you spend?
We don't ask about immigration status and delivering city
You don't
services,
ask
so
about
we
how
don't
much
have
money
that
the city of Boston has spent on illegal immigration?
We
Are
don't
you out of your
distinguish
mind?
between immigration status.
Do you
as
manage
part
your
of our
budget
city
or not,
policies.
Mayor
That
Wu?
is how we keep
Mayor
our city
Wu,
safe.
do you manage
we
your
have
budget
the
or not?
numbers to prove it. I manage my budget. I have a AAA bond rating dating back 10 years.
So to the city of
budget.
Boston, just understand that your mayor does not care how much of your resources she has spent on people who are not citizens
The city of Boston
the city of
is
Boston.
sick of having
I'm
people
reclaiming my
outside
time.
Boston
Mr.
telling
Bear,
us what we
Mr. Bear, I have
need.
a question for you because I understand Cato's perspective when it comes to illegal immigration. I understand that the Cato Institute for a long time has had a standard of actually having open immigration into the United States. Generally speaking, I don't want to get into specifics.
We support legal immigration. We want immigration to be legal.
So let me ask you this question. Because one of the great libertarians of the modern era, Milton Friedman, famously said, you can either have...
But I love that, man. He doesn't beat around the bush either. And that dumbass mayor from Boston, we don't appreciate people from government telling us how to run what we do with our money. These people they're Democrats. And you see that? New York, $6.9 billion on illegal criminals. Are you kidding me? This is the stuff that we have to put up with. Oh, wow. This has got to stop. All right, and this one, let's see. What do we got? Well, I got to get some funny stuff in here. Some of these are not, they're really not funny. So we're going to get into some funny stuff here. Oh, check this joke out. Elon Musk. You know, when he tries to tell a joke, they're not straight up funny, but you'll like this one.
That lawsuit was funded by Reid Hoffman, who is a major Dem donor. And also an Epstein client. The plot thickens.
The plot thickens. Jesus Christ.
Yes.
It's so blatant. It's like so obvious. The SpaceX lawsuit, the Trump stuff, it's so obvious.
Yes. Like known Epstein clients who are obviously extremely powerful, powerful politically and very wealthy, are, Bill Gates, Bill Clinton, and Reid Hoffman. And some others too, but those three. So, why was Reid Hoffman so intent on destroying Trump?
Do you think it's because they're worried about the list coming out?
Yeah, one of the reasons. Yeah.
That was not the joke that I was thinking. That was the Epstein deal. Oh, yeah. Sorry about that. That one was a pretty crazy thing on. That wasn't even funny. All right, let's try to find something funny here because we got to do what is this one? Friday Funny, a threat to democracy. I hope this one's funny.
I actually wish that the government would extort us more. My name is Beck. My pronouns are they, them, and Elon. Right to the pocket. So I'm concerned. It's in the nation's best interest to continue being extorted by the government through taxation. And it is frankly none of our business where they're spending that money. I saw a report that Elon found $4.7 trillion of untraceable spending from the Treasury Department. Who does he think it is? It's none of our business. You don't understand. Government transparency is a threat to democracy. $2.7 trillion in improper Medicare and Medicaid payments? No. Our healthcare system is literally perfect. They said that they found 20 million Americans over the age of 100 receiving Social Security benefits. Assuming that is fraud is frankly a threat to democracy. USAID is not a money laundering organization, and if you ask questions, you are a threat to democracy. No, listen, I hear you. The Pentagon failed their last 7 audits in a row, but if I mess up on my taxes, I can go to jail. And that's okay. It's not a double standard. It's not. At the end of the day, I hope and I pray that they get Elon out of there. They need to get him out of there and then just get back to extorting us through taxation without transparency. It's democracy. That is how we save it.
Well, since we're not a democracy, that was sarcasm, of course, if you didn't catch that one. I'm going to go down here because some of these I'm going to show tomorrow because they are not that funny to begin with. So let's get into something, but we got to laugh because this day has been horrible and I am viciously tired. Oh, listen to this two priest joke.
Two priests are off to the showers late one night. They undress and step into the showers before they realize there is no soap. Father John says he has soap in his room and goes to get it, not bothering to dress. He grabs 2 bars of soap, 1 in each hand, and heads back to the showers. He is halfway down the hall when he sees 3 nuns heading his way. Having no place to hide, he stands against the wall and freezes like he's a statue. The nuns stop and comment on how lifelike he looks. The first nun suddenly reaches out and pulls on his manhood. Startled, he drops a bar of soap. "Oh, look," says the first nun. "It's a soap dispenser." To test her theory, the second nun also pulls on his manhood. Sure enough, he drops the second bar of soap. Now the third nun decides to have a go. She pulls once, then twice, and 3 times, but nothing happens. So she gives several more tugs, then yells, "Holy Mary, Mother of God, hand lotion too!"
I know I'm going to hell for that one, but I couldn't help myself. That was funny. I couldn't help it. That was just too funny right there, and I'm going to hell. But that was just that was good right there. All right, let's see if I get one more in here, and we're not going to go anywhere without seeing Jeff and Walter and talking about Walter's parents. I think I got time for that.
Did you have a good relationship with your parents? Kind of hit and this. Sure, sometimes good, sometimes bad. No, hit and this. Sometimes I got hit and sometimes they missed. It was different back then. Sure, back then, time out and that lawn that knocked you senseless. What about your dad? Oh, she hit him too. By the way, did I hear you call yourself middle-aged? That's right. And you're 55. That's right. Yeah, being a little optimistic there, aren't you, Chachi? Middle-aged, middle, the center, halfway. You are not going to make it to 110. And if you do, your kids are going to be like, "Dad, it's time to die." We're in our 70s now. We have our own problems. Just f***ing die.
Oh, you gotta love Jeff Dunham. I love it. Think about it, Fixer. She was pulling on his manhood a bunch of times. That was a funny joke. Go back and replay that part. Hey, Gab, explain it to him, would you? Thank you very much. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight. I am so tired. Sorry if I wasn't all up to that today, but I'm really tired. 2:30 in the morning sucks to get up and start doing this stuff. Then I went to Home Depot at 5:30 this morning to get there at 6 to get some stuff. So hopefully tomorrow night will be good. I've got a lot of these videos that I want you to see that are not funny, but we are going to get those done and out of the way, and whatever articles that I go over tomorrow. And hopefully we'll have a little bit better time after I get home from the hospital and stuff. So we'll see what's going on. But thank you for tuning in tonight. Guys, I very much appreciate it. You guys are awesome no matter what. And I hope you guys have a great evening. And I'm going to leave you with this. All righty, Patriots, we have navigated the weekend chaos, exposed the deranged plots, and witnessed the growing cracks in the Democrats' crumbling facade. We've seen the lunacy, the hypocrisy, and the sheer unadulterated madness that define the modern left. Let tonight's revelation fuel your resolve. Let it strengthen your commitment to defending sanity, upholding the rule of law, and protecting the values that made America the greatest nation on earth. Let it remind you that we are not just observers, but active participants in the fight for our nation's soul. Remember, truth has a power of its own, and we, the guardians of truth, will not be silenced. We will not be intimidated, and we will not back down. We will continue to shine a light on the darkness, expose the lies, and demand accountability. Tonight, we witnessed the madness. Tomorrow night, we'll dive deeper into the issues, challenge the narratives, and arm you with the truth you need to stand strong. So tune in tomorrow evening right here at the same time for another fantastic episode of the Conservative Viewpoint. We'll be back ready to dissect every day's events, and to challenge the narratives and to champion the principles that make America the beacon of freedom for the world. So until then, guys, stay strong, stay vigilant, and God bless the United States of America. I'll see you back here live tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right after the Rebel Chicks with a Cause, which starts at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So until then, guys, have a great rest of your evening. I'm going to sleep. I'll catch you back here live tomorrow.